All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Achakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Nab, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. I found this on Fox Business. It says, economist sounds alarm on Trump policy, warns American is nearing financial crisis. Let's look into this.
Fox Business Alert: gold shimmering up to its highest close today in history at $5,079.90 per troy ounce, just a day after blasting through $5,100 an ounce. Investors have been piling into the safe haven trade for a year now. The run-up in precious metals has gotten added rocket fuel since President Trump announced his widespread tariffs back in April. This week alone, he's threatened new levies on Canadian and South Korean imports. A possible government shutdown is looming. The Senate has until midnight this Friday to pass the $1.3 trillion spending package to fund the government. Senate Democrats are now saying they will not vote to fund the Department of Homeland Security without restrictions for immigration enforcement, which could torpedo the entire bill. And don't forget, the Federal Reserve meeting gets underway today. In this hour tomorrow, we will hear from Jerome Powell after the interest rate decision. Joining us now to weigh in, Euro Pacific Asset Management Chief Economist and Market Strategist Peter Schiff, who's here in a Fox Business exclusive.
It seems like every week you worried about the rate. Every week the government's about to be shut down. It's just, this place it's not in order, man.
His Euro Pacific Dividend Income Fund, EPDIX, was among the best performing global value funds of 2025. Peter, what's having the most impact on gold right now? Is it tariff uncertainty? Is it the government shutdown? Is it interest rates? Is it the risk out there generally? Is it central banks who are hoarding gold?
I gotta find Peter. He always giving good advice about the economy. I don't know. Peter Schiff. I gotta find a channel on him or something. Well, let's see what he says here, though.
Well, it's a lot of things. And first of all, the problem with the government is not that it might shut down, but that it's going to continue to operate. The U.S. government is the biggest reason that gold.
Imagine that. The biggest problem is that it's going to continue to operate, not that it'll shut down. Crazy.
Is at a new all-time record high. The dollar today, the dollar index is at a 4-year
Oh, come on, man.
low against the Swiss.
It's at a 4-year low. I just saw a video with Duck saying how the dollar's doing great. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. I just had it. He just said the dollar was doing great. Donald Trump says that the U.S. dollar is doing very great. Yeah, right here, 6 hours ago.
I wanted the word cuppa as in cup of tea.
On Bloomberg television, Trump says U.S. dollar is doing great.
Taking it, I'm trademarking.
There's a lot about Mr. President with the current value of the dollar. Do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar. Look at the business we're doing. No.
You know, it's just lies. So Peter Schiff's telling you it's at a 4-year low, and he's telling you that it's doing great. So this is why, I just reverse everything he says to kind of get a glimpse of how this place is actually going, because he can't tell the truth. And it's not just him, it's just the Edomites. It's just Edomites, period. They're wicked. They can't, they operate under lies, just wickedness.
Dollar. Do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar. Look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great.
You want to see it decline?
It's very interesting.
He's just shaking his head for what? How do you know? He got yes men around him.
You look at China and Japan. I used to fight like hell with them because they always wanted to devalue their yen. You know that? The yen and the yuan. And they'd always want to devalue it. They devalue. And I said, not fair that you devalue because it's hard to compete when they devalue. But they always thought, no, our dollar's.
You talked a lot about.
Okay, so the dollar's very good, according to the Duck.
Franc, the U.S. dollar, is at an all-time record low today. Consumer confidence just plunged to a 12-year low. And as you said, gold is at an all-time record.
Gold's at an all-time record high. And there's so many precepts popping in my mind right now. I want to grab some of them. I don't mean to stop it in the middle of this thing. But he's pretty much contradicting what the duck just said. So that makes me want to go to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter, I think it's 12. It says, remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and that's the keepers of the house, so your ultimately it goes into your banking families, your elite banking families, but it also goes into who keeps the house. You know, who is the economists are telling you the the state of the house. So that's kind of what Peter Schiff is. He's a good analyst on telling you. He's blowing the horn. You know, he's trembling. He's showing you this is an issue. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. Okay, the strong men bowing themselves is talking about. Hold on, let me see. As a matter of fact, I haven't been in this in a while. I believe that's talking about different. The strong men would be like police officers, things, military, things like that. Let me just look at my notes real quick. Strongmen represent the police and the military, different branches like the Army, Marines, Air Force. Okay, because why? You about to go to war. A lot of people, they join the military not thinking that they're actually going to have to fight. But when your economy's going low and the gold prices up, you're going to have to go and fight, man. And look at the war environment, or the war can kick off at any moment. I mean, he's sending the Abraham Lincoln ship next to Iran. Iran supposedly got bombed today. Okay, they're saying they don't know anything, but they know they're not saying anything pretty much. Who knows? That could be all propaganda. Another nuclear site at Iran got bombed. Okay, and this is all accumulates around the news that's being issued today. And the grinders cease because there are few. The grinders are going into jobs. You're hearing about a lot of jobs being lost because of AI, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. So people who are looking out the windows, it's a metaphor for you don't see a bright future. Okay, the windows are darkened. When you're looking out the window, you expect to see some type of future, and it's dark. You don't see a bright future, okay, because of the economy, because of the state of the world. So Ecclesiastes 12 verse 4, and the doors shall be shut when the sound of the grinding is low. So the doors being shut in the streets, we saw that a couple days ago in Minnesota. They were all protesting. They shut down all the businesses so they can continue to protest, and they were doing that in cold ass weather. Okay, out of all the days you can go protest, you'd probably pick a more suitable day to do it, and they did it in the most terrible conditions. So that speaks volumes onto their protests, in my opinion. That they're really serious about what they're saying, especially no one wants to stay in the cold, man. When the sound of grinding is low, okay, when the sound of grinding is low, you don't hear people working anymore. And the sound of grinding was low that day because nobody was working. Nobody could even drive down that street. I mean, you heard the shouts of protests and police cars and people getting arrested, but there's going to be a time where there ain't going to be any businesses opened up. And all these different when the business owners are coming out to protest, that says a lot, because Jake ain't gonna really protest like that. They'll work. If the business is open, they'll go to work. But when your boss starts coming out protesting, it's not only Jake protesting to their boss, but the owners are coming out and they protesting against the people running this place. So it's a much deeper issue. It's going higher up the chain. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. That's pretty much the point. Rising up at the voice of the bird, meaning, you're going to wake up when you hear the birds. You don't. It's gonna be so quiet. You're gonna hear the birds, man. Okay, and the daughters of music shall be brought low, and that's talking about just pretty much the, brothers use this as the music industry, but it's just everyone's gonna be affected by this, even the music industry. We see that with AI. That's gonna be taking jobs. No one's safe from an economic collapse.
Record high. So Trump is trying to sell the U.S. economy as, the hottest in the world. But according to consumers and investors, it is the coldest in the world. If you had to grade the economy, you'd have to give it an F. The main reason, though, to own gold.
And this is Peter Schiff. He said you got to give it an F. Duck's trying to point the blame. Oh, it's Jerome Powell. He's not increasing the Fed rate. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's not everything but what he's doing. Who is Peter Schiff? Peter Schiff is an American economist, financial broker, author, and podcast host known for his vocal Austrian school influence and often contrarian views on the U.S. economy. As CEO of Euro Pacific Capital and founder of Schiff Gold, he is a prominent advocate for investing in gold, foreign securities, and commodity-focused assets. So, a lot of brothers use him as a good resource when it comes to the economy. I don't know too much about him, but I've seen many videos about his points of view, and he's even predicted some shit just by looking at the economy. So that's, some, biblical things, man. I've used Ecclesiastes 12 multiple times. He talks about gold, he talks about the economy, he talks about policy. Prediction: Schiff gained notoriety for predicting the 2008 housing crash and financial crisis. So he knows what he's talking about, man. He knows what the numbers look like and all of that. Philosophy: he is harsh critic of U.S. debt, fiat currency, and modern monetary policy. Hey, that's just like us. That's the spirit right there. Often warning of high inflation and potential collapses of the U.S. dollar, just like we be talking about. So Peter Schiff is his mindset is aligned with points in the Bible, biblical prophecy. Media presence: he hosts the Peter Schiff Show podcast and is frequent guest on financial news networks like CNBC, Fox Business, and Bloomberg. So Bloomberg is very good for economic information. But I'm gonna have to get the Peter Schiff podcast. I'm gonna have to keep that open.
We just got good numbers on durable goods. We've had pretty solid numbers. I mean, granted, consumer sentiment is very iffy depending on the month. But Peter,
imagine being able to build anything.
Come on, man. Slovakia.
Made.
people's incomes are pretty solid. We're starting to see some real gains in productivity. So call it the coldest.
We're not seeing that, Liz. Unfortunately,
right. She's in this. Remember, this is Fox Business. So, her job is to keep it right wing, biased, and to kind of make the duck look good. Because Fox kind of sucks. So the only thing that's keeping it running is it's a business, man. They're trying to keep, they got the base, their base watches this shit. So she got to keep it PG for the duck.
The numbers are not accurate. They're highly skewed. They're going to
look at that. He just cut her right out the thing. Let me rewind this, Lakia.
We're not seeing that, Liz. Unfortunately, the numbers are not accurate. They're highly skewed. They're going to be revised, and a lot of it is being influenced by inflation.
There you go, inflation. So your money might be looking right. Shit, you may have even gotten a raise. But it's not going to match with the inflation. You might have got he might even give you a 10% raise. You're like, shit, I never had a 10% raise. But inflation's increasing at 15, 14%, something. I'm not an economist, but the inflation's higher than what you're not keeping up with inflation.
Inflation is going to be much more in that, Liz. Unfortunately, the numbers are not accurate. They're highly skewed. They're going to be revised, and a lot of it is being influenced by inflation. Inflation is going to be much more pernicious over the next few years than it was when Biden was president. Unfortunately, that's what gold and silver are.
Let me get pernicious. Define pernicious. Having a harmful effect. Oh, that says pernicious. I thought you said pernicious. Especially in a gradual, subtle way, but I think that's the word. Maybe I heard him wrong.
Over the next few years than it was when Biden was president. Unfortunately, that's what gold and silver are telling you. They're highly skewed.
Call it the coldest?
We're not seeing that, Liz. Unfortunately, the numbers are not accurate. They're highly skewed. They're going to be revised, and a lot of it is being influenced by inflation. Inflation is going to be much more pernicious over the next few years than it was.
He did say pernicious.
When Biden was president. Unfortunately, that's what gold and silver are.
Which means it's going to have a harmful effect.
Are telling you. They are a warning. Just like in 2007.
He's saying that's what gold is telling you. I need to listen to this. So like I'm a little slow.
Over the next few years than it was when Biden was president. Unfortunately, that's what gold and silver are telling you. They are a warning. Just like in 2007 when the subprime market blew up, something that I had been forecasting would happen for years and something that I bet against. When that happened, I knew that it was foreshadowing a bigger crisis that hit the following year. But the mainstream investment community, the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke said that subprime was contained. He didn't understand the problem. Gold and silver are warning about a bigger crisis that's going to hit either later this year or maybe next year. We are headed for a U.S. dollar crisis.
Well, let's jump in on the dollar. Let me just jump in.
Ooh. Peter Schiff, man. Get ready. Beautiful, man. Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off. So this is a prophecy of a foreshadowing of an economic collapse, just like he was talking about. Okay. There's going to be, if your dollar collapsed, the stock market everything collapsed. Everything's based on that dollar, having a strong dollar. But if your dollar is weak, less investment, you're going to want to invest in a more stable society. This place is not going to be stable, man. And if that collapse, best believe more totalitarian things are going to be happening then. Okay, and it's all accumulated. And he said within next year or the year after. He's saying it's soon. It's not down the road, 10 years down the road. He's saying it's a debt crisis and a dollar crisis, man. But you're going to duck. Everything's fine. Highly respected and very popular state treasurer. This is an hour ago. Stacey Garrity is running to be the next governor of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And I would think this would be more, important to talk about.
Except for the yuan at the moment. The U.S. dollar.
We are headed for a U.S. dollar crisis.
Well, let's jump in on the dollar. Let me just jump in. Except for the yuan at the moment. The U.S. dollar is weaker against all major currencies.
And look at these monies over here. UK pounds at the top, then the euro, then the Canadian, then the Japanese yen, U.S. dollar FX cross rate. Versus the U.S. dollar, Slovakia. Okay, versus the U.S. dollar, UK is up 1.3, euros up 1.1, Canadian dollar is above 0.73. And the won is just below the U.S. dollar. It's in between the Japanese and the yuan. So Your dollar's right there. China's right beneath you.
In fact, it's hitting a 4-year low. Sometimes people say, well, you don't want too strong a dollar because that means, multinational companies here in the United States, their products become more expensive. So where's the sort of middle ground here?
Yeah, well, it's actually weaker against the yuan, too, because the other currencies, the way your charts look, it's the other currencies going up, but then in the yuan, it shows the dollar going down. Look, the dollar is weaker across the board, and this is a vote of no confidence in the U.S. economy, in the U.S. government.
No confidence in the U.S. economy. And you wonder why Warren Buffett, he's sitting on 350. He'd be dropping jewels, too. Calls this place a casino. People, these are the keepers of the house. They're not putting their money in risky investment. Why put something in that's burning? Putting your money in a damn oven. That's what this place is.
Government's ability to manage its confidence in the U.S. economy, in the U.S. government's ability to manage its finances. The nail in the coffin was the big, beautiful bill, because before Trump was elected,
going into his policies, man,
there was actually some hope that the U.S. might actually, get a handle on spending and cut government spending.
Before he was president.
You had Elon Musk coming in with Doge, but unfortunately they ran him out of town because there's no stomach, even in the Republican Party, for cutting government spending. So the deficits are running out of control, even more now than they were before. And now you have Trump antagonizing the world with tariffs that aren't really on the world. The tariffs are on Americans. Americans pay the tariffs, but it makes foreign goods more expensive for American consumers. And so foreign companies don't do as much business in the United States. But now you also have Donald Trump threatening to invade Greenland, whether he does it or not.
Well,
He's
he
talking
said he
about the
wasn't
fact
going
that we have
to.
a strong
He said,
military.
hold on, he said that there was a deal, and we're waiting to hear the framework.
Peter Schiff, man, you all right with me, man. You all right with me. Whenever the truth come out, man, and she won't combat it, but beautiful.
More details on it, but he said he will not use force. He will not.
He says he says he won't do a lot of things, but he does it.
Not invade Greenland. I just want to be clear on that. U.S. national debt right now. So you're not wrong about too much spending, and we're still waiting to see some of that at least ameliorate. We've got the national debt at $38.6 trillion at this very moment.
$38.6 trillion. You can't pay that shit back. You can't pay that shit back, man. They gonna kick the can till it crash. That's what the plan was all the way from the beginning. That's how the Lord was gonna do it.
The federal budget deficit is still just really kind of depressing. I mean, these numbers are going the wrong way. But what is your, if you believe that all of this pushes gold higher, what is your target price?
Well, I don't have a target price other than much higher, because there's no floor on the dollar, so there's no ceiling on gold. But Liz, the important thing is not that Trump backed away from his threats to invade Greenland. The fact of the matter is he put it out there that he was considering it and that he would use America's military might that we only possess because the rest of the world finances it. We depend on the world. They provide us with the goods that we don't produce. They loan us the money we don't save. Trump has it backwards. The world economy doesn't work because of us. Our economy works because of the world. We have a dysfunctional consumer-based credit economy that rests on the foundation of the U.S. dollar's reserve currency status, and the world is now pulling the rug out from under the U.S. The dollar's going to collapse. The dollar's going to be replaced by gold. Central banks are buying gold to back up their currencies. They're getting rid of dollars. They're getting rid of treasuries. We are headed for an economic crisis, again, that will make the 2008 financial crisis look like a Sunday school picnic. The biggest difference between the crisis that we're about to have and the one we had back then is this one is all in America. It's not going to be exported to the rest of the world. It's not a global financial crisis. It's an American financial crisis. The rest of the world is actually going to benefit.
I need to get in here. You sound like...
Ooh. So I'm telling you, all that shit's going to crash here. That don't mean the rest of the world's not going to suffer, but not as bad as Babylon. That's why you gonna wish you would never even hear. we about to go through the furnace, man. Okay, look at Schiff's eyes, man. He ain't fooling around.
Like Jamie Dimon, doom and gloom. But Peter, the last time you were on the show,
Jamie Dimon sounds like me. He sounds like me. Maybe he's listening to my podcast.
Okay, battle of the egos here. Wait, the last time you were on the show, we took a look at how your picks have been doing since then. And September 18th, 2024, you had recommended Agnico Eagle Mines, Pan American Silver. We can show the performance of those. Agnico up 161% since you mentioned it. Pan American Silver up 206%. We want to let our viewers know the CEO is coming on from Pan American Silver on Thursday in a Fox Business exclusive. Do you have any new names that you would like to recommend?
Well, first of all, even
these are probably some good companies to invest in, man. You know, brothers do that type of shit, man. But that's just for now. You know, when shit hit the fan, the Lord don't really talk about, he's saying your righteousness is really going to deliver you, you know? So I want to be trusting in anything to think that we getting the hell up out of here. You know, as long as your mind's on the kingdom, if you make some money on the way there, shit, do your thing. But the Lord said he going to feed you. He going to give you water and drink. So, you know, to rely on your own means of getting it, he might give you over to that. Yeah, go get some water in this time by yourself. See how that goes for you. See how far you get trusting in your own mind. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who could know it? That's why I'd rather just trust in the Lord.
Though those stocks are up a lot since the last time I was on your show talking about them, they're actually cheaper now than they were back then because the earnings of these companies have gone up a lot more than the share price. And the reason is that investors still don't believe the rally is real. They look at gold and silver, they think it's a bubble. It's not a bubble, it's the pin. The bubble is in the dollar, the bubble is in the U.S. economy. And when investors start to realize that not only are gold prices and silver prices not going back down, but they're going to keep going up, these stocks are going to go ballistic. So I would keep...
Which is good, but when you buy stocks nowadays, you're going through you got like a middleman. You might go through Robinhood, you might go through, you know, Vanguard, whatever, right? But you putting that's pretty much Esau's money. You just putting your money in his pocket. When you look at the 1930 Depression, man, they weren't able to get their money. They couldn't get any of their assets. They were screwed. The fact that if you ain't getting the gold up front, like hard gold, which I don't even think Esau would sell you some shit like that. I want to trust this nigga. He probably give you some shit that when you cash it in, it's like a quarter of what you thought it was. You can't trust this devil, man.
Buying these names, you know, Franco-Nevada would keep buying these names. You know, Franco-Nevada is the other real high quality gold name. But I think the stars of this year are going to be the junior mining stocks, not the big names that everybody knows, but a lot of the small names that nobody's heard of that didn't move as much last year. And the best way to get involved in those is to buy my fund, my gold fund, Europe Pacific Gold Fund, EPGIX. That's the no-load symbol. You can buy it any discount broker. We've got a great portfolio of real junior mining stocks. You don't want to try to buy those yourselves because, you know, it's hard to know which ones to buy. Avoiding the landmines is probably more important than finding the gold mines.
Anybody can buy ATM in Pan America. Okay, Peter, we got to run. I'm not going to call you the ultimate gold bug. I'm going to call you the gold Mothra. Right,
yes,
Mothra, remember, versus Godzilla.
I've been recommending gold now, you know, to my clients for 25 years. Gold, when I started recommending it, was under $300. When I started buying silver, it was under $5. Right? Look at it now. I mean, the Dow Jones is down more than 75% over the last 25 years, priced in real money. So the S&P is at a record high today. That is an illusion. It's nowhere close to a record high. U.S. stocks are going down if you measure them in real money.
You never disappoint, Peter.
U.S. stocks are going down if you measure it with real money. And that's what everyone got their 401ks in, U.S. stocks.
It's great to have you on. Thank you for your perspective. Fox Business will have complete coverage of the Federal Reserve announcement and the news conference tomorrow. Charles Payne and Making Money will reveal the interest rate decision at 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by Jerome Powell's live news conference, which goes right into this hour. The market bottom moves on it. We are coming right back.
So we're going to see after Jerome Powell speaks tomorrow. But let me see this right here. I didn't want to make this too long. I'm going to keep it moving.
Yeah, Julie, this is somebody.
This is Border Czar Tom Homan arrives in Minnesota as face of Duck administration's immigration efforts.
He's been involved in federal immigration enforcement efforts for decades now. In fact, 3 decades of experience in federal immigration enforcement work. Homan first rose into an ICE leadership role under President Obama in 2013, then became head of the agency under President Trump in 2017. During both Trump terms, Homan has since emerged as a key supporter of what would be considered hardline immigration policies.
The border secure. President Trump saving lives.
During President Trump's second term, Tom Homan has been one of the strongest defenders of the administration's immigration enforcement policies.
I trust the professionals involved are all very well trained to make sure they establish reasonable suspicion.
Homan himself rose through the ranks as a federal immigration agent in the field.
Thank you for the opportunity today.
And testified before Congress about human smuggling in 2003.
We totally dismantled.
Look at this dude. He looked like he carried a .38 revolver in his ankle, and he'll shoot your ass and you know, give you put a fucking hand-me-down in your car, say you shot yourself.
Even alien smuggling organizations.
Homan then became a top ICE official in 2013 under President Obama. In 2015, Homan earned a Presidential Rank Award as the Obama administration in its later years loosened deportation efforts to prioritize people with serious criminal convictions.
You have them to deport, but you have policies that tell you not to deport whole categories of people that are here unlawfully. Isn't that correct?
That's a factor, yes, sir.
After President Trump won the 2016 election, Homan became head of ICE.
I chose to serve my country once again.
As ICE director in Trump's first term and now as border czar, Homan has helped implement the president's mass deportation promise, which makes anyone here illegally a target for removal.
We have to have our eyes really wide open as to who Tom Homan is.
Heidi Altman works with the National Immigration Law Center.
It's clear if you listen to his interviews and just take his words at face value that implementing the Trump administration agenda, he feels like he's living out his true values.
President Trump, though, has praised Homan's work in Minnesota.
Tom Homan is there right now. He's with the governor and he's with the mayor. And I hear things are going very nice.
Last fall, Homan was also the subject of some controversy after reports that he had accepted $50,000 from
$50,000 accepting bribery.
Undercover federal agents as part of a bribe.
And you know what? The Duck knew that, and he hired him, and he puts him in a high-ass position.
Bribery investigation in 2024 at the end of the Biden administration. Homan in the White House pushed back against those reports, and President Trump's DOJ closed the investigation, citing lack of evidence.
Taxes. Said he closed it. That's some gangster shit. He closed it. Hey, what's that? Job 13? Nope, Job 15 and 34. For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. Let's look this up. From the Bible states that the company of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery, meaning the unrighteous will find their gatherings empty and their ill-gotten gains destroyed by divine judgment. A warning from Eliphaz in the book of Job about the inevitable downfall of the wicked. It's part of Eliphaz's argument to Job, suggesting Job's suffering stems from hidden sin, using imagery of bareness, deceit, and consuming fire to illustrate the consequences of ungodliness. So the point of the message is that, you know, those deceitful gains that you get, you're not going to be able to spend it. You know, that's what the Bible's saying, man. And we're going to see all these things. Actually, you're seeing it. You're seeing it. Look at this picture here. What the hell is this? I got to look this up real quick. It shows, look at that. That's beautiful. The imagery of fire and desolation in this verse adds a sense of finality and severity to the consequences that await the hypocrites. Fire is often used in the Bible as a symbol of God's judgment and purification. The idea of tabernacles of Barbary being consumed by fire also brings to mind the concept of divine retribution for those who engage in corrupt and deceitful practices. This imagery reinforces the overall message of the verse, which is a warning about the inevitable downfall of those who live in hypocrisy and dishonesty. I'm going to have to read this later, but I just like the image. He gonna burn this place down doing shit like that, setting people up like that take bribes and shit. What's this? It says, this is Forbes breaking news. Just in, bulletin of the atomic scientists announced new setting for Doomsday clock. Let's see what this
for joining us today. My name is Alexandra Bell, and I am the President and CEO of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. It is the determination of the Bulletin's Science and Security Board that humanity has not made sufficient progress on the existential risks that endanger us all. We thus move the clock forward. The Doomsday Clock is a tool for communicating how close we are to destroying the world with technologies of our own making. The risks we face from nuclear weapons, climate change, and disruptive technologies are all growing. Every second counts, and we are running out of time. It is a hard truth, but this is our reality. It is now 85 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight.
Woo-hoo-hoo. But, you know, it's all carnal shit. But of that time and hour knoweth no man. Matthew 24 and 36. Let's grab that. Matthew 24, verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So, you know, even though with their, but at least they're understanding that they're getting closer to, they seeing the signs. They can't really formulate when. No one knows. Not even the Lord Yahweh Shai. Just the Heavenly Father. But it's still good to know that, hey, we getting closer to that point. I found this also. It says Newsom on CBS Mornings. Newsom launches probe into TikTok alleging suppression of content critical of Duck. Let's see.
The new American version of TikTok is already under scrutiny after some users accuse the app of suppressing anti-ICE or anti-Trump content. Now, California's governor says he's launching an investigation into the complaints.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is taking aim at the popular social media app, TikTok. Writing on X, "It's time to investigate. I am launching a review into whether TikTok is violating state law by censoring Trump-critical content." The Democrat said some users had complained they were barred from posting the phrase Epstein.
This is going to be American operated all the way.
It comes just days after Biden.
Think is suppressing. Why wouldn't he do that? Of course he would do some shit like that. If he's willing to get rid of Tom Homan's bribery case and close it for lack of sufficient evidence, maybe he bought TikTok. He wanted it so badly he did a merger with some other company. I don't know who Larry Ellison is, I think his name is. Let me see. Who is Larry Ellison? Larry Ellison is an American business magnate, entrepreneur, and philanthropist, best known as the co-founder and chief technology officer, CTO of Oracle Corporation, a multinational computer technology corporation. As of early 2026, he is one of the world's wealthiest individuals with a net worth often exceeding $200 billion, driven by his roughly 40% stake in Oracle and its advancements in AI-powered cloud computing. Okay, what about TikTok? Larry Ellison is the billionaire co-founder and CTO of Oracle Corporation, who as of January 2026 is part of an investor group that has taken control of TikTok's U.S. operations. His company Oracle holds a 15% stake in the new American entity handling data security and algorithm monitoring. So he got something to do with that shit. Mr. Larry Ellison, you don't talk about him. Yeah, so I'm sure we'll hear more about him in the future.
ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese owner, just days after ByteDance, TikTok's Chinese owner, said it had finalized a deal to set up a majority U.S.-owned joint venture that will secure U.S. data and avoid a ban here in the U.S. But since the announcement, users say they have noticed a change.
TikTok is now censoring our content a lot more now.
TikTok USA is broken.
What in the is going on with my FYP?
Over the weekend, TikTok users reported seeing the same videos repeating on their For You page, some content not displaying, and new posts getting 0 views. Other users also accused the app of censorship, claiming videos critical of ICE and the recent killing of Alex Preddy was what caused the difficulties to post.
We are posting factual, political information, and they are censoring our content.
But TikTok denied those claims and says the glitches users experienced were due to a power outage at a U.S. data center. In a statement, they said, quote, "We've publicly confirmed we're having ongoing technical issues impacting all U.S. users. It would be inaccurate to report that this is anything but the technical issues we've publicly confirmed."
Yeah, right.
Now, it's important to note that this deal for the U.S. portion of TikTok was just finalized last week, so it will likely take some time for any real changes to flow through to the app.
Sure.
I looked a lot different.
Sure. Let them tell it. But that ties into the famine of the word. Okay. I'll grab it again. Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. They're going to be doing the same thing. You start talking about Yahweh, about Hashem Yahweh Shah, they're going to cancel it. Black, Hebrew, Israelite verse this, and all of that. They're going to be canceling all of that. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north to even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. And they had all this opportunity, all this internet access. That's what the whole internet's for, is for you to receive the word, and they were using it for their own vain lusts. Amos 8 verse 13, in that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, thy God, O Dan, liveth, in the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again. So your idols are not going to save you. You're going to faint for thirst. That's spiritually and physically, because he said, my servant shall eat. You're not going to have this word. You're not going to know what to do. You're not going to be maintained in that time. Let me see where I'm at. I don't want to go too long. Oh, I'm doing good. It says U.S.-Iran tensions. USS Abraham enters West Asia amid Iran tensions. Let's see.
Tehran has clarified on the reports of an explosion at one of its nuclear sites. And this comes after reports of an explosion at military centers in the Baghdad region. Iranian authorities...
And just around the time the U.S. is sending this Abraham Lincoln vessel in that area, that's what it's known to do, to shoot shit. But they're not really reporting it as if it's coming from the duck. They're just saying, you know, you got to read between the lines sometimes.
Authorities say that there is no report of an accident or any kind of explosion in this area, and these sounds were related to the routine and daily activities of this military center. The governor of Baghdad announced investigations showed that the sounds heard were related to daily tests at the Parchin military complex, and there was no incident or threat to the city. It was further mentioned that such tests are carried out at specific...
So why are you reporting it? You heard the noise, but yet you're reporting it. This just goes to show you all these damn news companies are full of shit, man. It's all fucking propaganda, man. They're clearly bombing that place. He's not going to send the U.S. Abraham over there to keep pump faking. He killed their general. He blew up 2 nuclear sites over there. You don't think he sent that over there to bomb some more shit? The U.S. The Supreme dude is hiding in a damn bunker. So they're giving you all the facts, but they ain't telling you the whole story. They're just giving you little pieces of it, and you got to put it all together. Mystery explosion in Iran raises alarm. No, you're bombing Iran. But he speaks with such a forked tongue, and he's controlling all the news.
Time intervals, and there is no reason for citizens to worry.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about. The dollar's doing great too. You let him tell it. He wants to keep you in that docile state, so you just, he wants to rock you to sleep. Man, ain't the time to be asleep, man. It's time to be serving the Lord to the best of your ability.
Now, this comes amidst heightened tensions in West Asia, where an American aircraft carrier recently has arrived to lead any U.S. military action. The U.S. president has been vowing action to punish Iranian authorities over the...
Tehran warns of total war. Why would they be doing it if this is all coincidental?
Bloody crackdown on nationwide protests, the arrival of the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier strike group, along with guided missile destroyers accompanying, provides the US with the ability to strike Iran. Gulf Arab states have already signaled that they intend to stay out of any attack despite hosting American military personnel. Saudi Arabia and UAE have said that US can't launch any attack from their territory.
So there you go, man. Shit's kicking off over there. Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, Mexico, Russia, China. Mad shit's going on, man. But was there any precepts I wanted to grab about that? That's pretty much it, man. It's good to be aware of these things. What's this? Tom Tillis goes scorch earth on incompetent Kristi Noem and demands that she resign. Yeah, I'm hearing our governor of Massachusetts said the same thing. Let's see what he said.
To then think that we can move on before this has been adjudicated.
Senator, do you have confidence in Secretary Noem?
None at all. No, she's. I've tried to maintain confidence, but look, I've done and we'll be sharing this information. We've done a Trump 1, Trump 2 comparison of disaster relief. There's no comparison whatsoever. Trump 1 was right on with disaster recovery. You think about Matthew and Florence. And this one, she's not even handling the other part of her job. I mean, at one point she thought FEMA should be eliminated. To give you an idea of how incompetent I think she is, she actually thought FEMA should be eliminated. And when she had a FEMA director said he didn't think that was a good idea, she fired him within 24 hours. Now she understands that that is an important part of her job. These are like amateurish assistant manager sort of thought processes going into somebody who's a secretary in a cabinet level position. It's unacceptable.
Does she need to step down? Does she need to...
Stephen Miller's in the same boat. This guy, after doing the stupid comments he made about Greenland getting the president in a difficult circumstance, is one of the people that came out publicly and said that this guy was a terrorist before he'd even talked with anybody on the ground, and that's clearly not the case now. So, I mean, it's just, Stephen Miller never fails to live up to my expectations of incompetence.
Why do you think he should be fired?
I'm going to leave that up to the president. I can tell you, if I were president, neither one of them would be in Washington right now.
But do you think Noem should step down?
I think Noem needs to decide what. I think if Noem looks at her body at work, I could not be. If I were in her position, I can't think of any point of pride over the last year. She's got to make her own decision, or the president does. But she has taken this administration into the ground on an issue that we should own. We should own the issue of border security and immigration, but they have destroyed that for Republicans. Something that got the president elected, they have destroyed it through their incompetence.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator.
Have a good evening.
So that's straight out of Esau's mouth, man. He ain't. Where is he doing good at? Where is he making this place great? On every aspect of what I'm seeing, he's doing a horrible job. Well, he's doing a wonderful job according to prophecy, but according to you Babylonians' mindset, you should be pissed the fuck off. He shouldn't be making me happy. Okay, I'm the last person that he should. It's like he's working for Israel. Yeah, but we know, I'm talking about the real Israel. The Lord's using him to fulfill prophecy. And, hey, let the Lord's will be done. And he's doing it quick, efficient. He only been here a year. And look at the whole state of the world. NATO Chief Rutt explains why U.S. cannot leave alliance, defends ducks pressure.
Stuff. And President Trump is doing a lot of good stuff, I believe. I know I'm irritating a lot of you again, but I think so. Because, as I said also in Davos, the 2% reached by all NATO countries now at the end of 2025 would never, ever, ever have happened without Trump. Do you really think that Spain and Italy and Belgium and Canada would have decided to move from 1.5 to 2%? Italy spending 10 billion more now on defense at the beginning of the year without President Trump? No way, it would not have happened. And do you really think that in The Hague we would have come to the 5% commitment without President Trump? No way. So I think he is very important to NATO. He is totally committed to NATO. He had one big irritant, one big pebble in the shoe, which is there since Eisenhower, the fact that...
Mind you, NATO's part of the beast. NATO is the beast. Europe's the heads, and he's revealing the whole that sit up upon the beast. They can't do anything without him, but they're gonna be formulating a way to get around him.
The Europeans were not paying up. And with the NATO defense commitment in The Hague, the outcome of the Hague summit on spending and also industrial production in Ukraine, but particularly here on spending, we are now equalizing with the US, so that irritant is gone. So there is a total commitment by the US to NATO in Article 5, but also an expectations that Europeans and Canadians will pay more, and we are doing so. Germany is a big example. You spent 70 billion on defense in 2021. You will spend 160 billion, 90 billion more in 2029. You will reach the 3.5% core defense spending as part of the 5% by 2029. This is Germany leading the way, the second biggest economy in NATO. This is crucial, and it is a great example to others. And of course, we have a couple of countries like Poland and Estland, Lithuania, and Latvia already on the 5%. But also Canada. Can I mention that here? Canada is back. Canada 2%, committing to the 5%, being a huge supporter for Ukraine, also spending a lot of money on these Pearl packages. So Canada is really back, and I think that's fantastic. Hey, but so when President Trump is doing good stuff, I will praise him, and I don't mind him publishing text messages. And if anyone thinks here, again, that the European Union or Europe as a whole can defend itself without the US, keep on dreaming. You can't. We can't. We need each other. And why do...
See, hold on, let me repeat that.
Without the US, keep on dreaming. You can't. We can't. We need each other. And why do we need each other? I tell you. First of all, because also the US needs NATO. And the US is not only in NATO to prevent a mistake after the First World War, not to re-engage with Europe. And then again, the long arm of history reaching out to the US again in the Second World War, as Churchill famously said in his speech in 1941 in the US Congress. They are also in NATO because for the US to stay safe, and by the way, Arctic region is evidence here, they need a secure Arctic, they need a secure Euro-Atlantic, and they also need to secure Europe. So the US has every interest in NATO as much as Canada and the European NATO allies. But for Europe, if you really want to go it alone, and those who are planning for that, forget that you can ever get there with 5%. It will be 10%. You have to build up your own nuclear capability. That costs billions and billions of euros. You will lose then, in that scenario, you would lose the ultimate guarantor of our freedom, which is the US nuclear umbrella. So, hey, good luck. I love this. The Board of Peace. On the Board of Peace, I will not comment, because when it comes to the Board of Peace, obviously NATO is not directly involved in the Middle East peace efforts. Of course, we welcome all the work to secure peace in Gaza, where allies are navigating the crisis, but we are not ourselves in.
Anyways, the point is, he thinks NATO and the EU and they all need each other, and that's not what's going to happen according to Revelation, the 17th chapter, because he's going to put it in their minds to turn against the whore. Revelation 17 and 15, and he saith unto me, I'll start at 14, these shall make war with the Lamb, which is Yahushai, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. So these nations are going to fight up against the Lord. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth, the whore is America, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So it's talking about when you read up in Revelation 17:1, it says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So it's telling you how this whore America is going to be destroyed. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, which is NATO. The 10 horns represent the European Union, and the beast represents NATO. These shall hate the whore, which is America. Okay, right now he's saying that they love each other, they all alliance, they need each other. You know, it's all like trying to keep things in order. They want to keep things the way it is, but the Lord is he's gonna break that, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So the Lord's gonna break this alliance that he thinks that he covets so much. He's gonna break it. For God have put in their hearts to fulfill his will. So it's not in his heart yet, because he's trying to keep it together. Or maybe, he might be, the enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but inwardly he seeks to overthrow thee. So it's not everything that you're saying that really matters. Because when you look at the, what did it say, the mother of all deals? The mother of all deals, EU and India. Yeah, let's see what this is talking about. They're doing deals with these other nations. Let's use the New York Post, see what it says.
WGU's RN to BSN program is curriculum. You'll graduate.
फ्रेंड्स, आज भारत ने अपने इतिहास का, I am the president of the European Council, but I'm also an overseas Indian citizen. Then, as you can imagine, for me, it has a special meaning. At a time when the global order is being fundamentally reshaped, the European Union and India stand together as a strategic and reliable partners. Today, we are taking our partnership to the next level. As the 2 largest democracies in the world, we are working hand in hand to deliver concrete benefits for our citizens and to shape a resilient global order that underpins peace and stability, economic growth, and
India is going against the U.S. dollar. They're joining the BRICS nations. Okay, they're aligned more so with Russia. Okay, so that's not strengthening the U.S. economy by doing a deal with India. He should be strengthening his allies, with business, having them come to him, but they're moving away from him. So this is a sign that they're not all together, like Mark Rutt was saying. This has all happened simultaneously, as he's saying they're so close together.
Sustainable development.
Prime Minister, distinguished friend, we did it. We delivered the mother of all deals.
Look at her. She's so happy, man. It's oppressive being under the duck.
We're creating a market of 2 billion people. And this is the tale of 2 giants, the world's 2nd and 4th largest economies. 2 giants who choose partnership in a true win-win fashion. Thank you very much.
Esau don't work on a win-win. No, he like to win and you lose. That's how he does business. But, and that's why Esau's gonna fuck it all up, man. That's why he gonna invade that place. He gonna do something. I don't know what he's gonna do exactly, but he gonna cause ultimately it's the Lord that's going to have his will be fulfilled.
Thank you, madam. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude the press statements. Thank you very much for your presence.
That looks like a good business deal. The mother of all deals, they're naming it something much bigger than... It's just craziness, man. Okay. We finished Revelation 17. 16, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled. So they're giving their kingdom unto the beast. They're working with him now, but eventually they're going to fulfill the Lord's will. And I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.